is the important for start.
เราจุดไว้ได้ดูจุดนะลุงจุด
Dạ. Okay. Okay. Three. Đừng lấy chị. Không, nếu mà vậy gần quá không có xóa được anh ơi.
Cái lá đen canh như nó đẹp chứ nhiều lắm rồi lá đen.
Okay, another pose.
Okay, right.
Welcome everyone to this morning's event. On behalf of the Vietnam, I'd like to express our sincere thank you to Professor Dr. Sak, who's also the Chancellor of BOU, and to the other associate professors for this who are here today, Dr. Hong, Professor Dr. Hong, and Professor Dr. Army. So you are most welcome. We appreciate very much the fact that you came all the way from Thailand to conduct this, our first final defense for our ML students. And these are the first students ever to graduate with masters from our BOU Vietnam. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you for assisting with today's defense. Thank you very much. Now, thank you, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning, everyone. Before we start the final defense, I would like to introduce the academic board here today. Firstly is the founder and chancellor of BOU University, Professor Dr. Sak. Next is the second professor we have is Associate Professor Dr. Ong, who is the head of BOU International Relations. Next is Associate Professor Sub-Lieutenant Dr. Tani, who is Director of Political Science for BOU. Dr. Chris, the BOU Rector for Vietnam. And me. So for the final defense today, BOU Board of Directors, I would like to present, there will be 5 candidates today. The first candidate to present will be Mr. Coy for Master of Management. Mr. Coy. The next person to present will be Mr. Don, also Master of Management. Mr. Ngân, Master of Management. Mr. Yung, Master of Management. And we have one final, Mr. Bung, who is presenting for Bachelor of Aviation. Okay. Also, I'd like to introduce Mr. Hong, who is also will be the BOU coordinator for Vietnam. Miss Jung, who will be the BOU office manager for Vietnam. Okay, and welcome Dr. Lam on Zoom. Okay, so without further ado, I would call on Mr. Coy to start his final defense.
Thank you for Dr. Josh, your introduction. So, good morning, morning, Dr. Shak, Professor Dr. Shak, Professor Dr. Hong, Dr. Tony, Dr. Chris, Dr. Josh, and Dr. Lam from the Zoom. So, this is my topic for the final defense. That is the key success of factors of banking career. So my presentation includes three chapters. The first one about the society and economic situation of Vietnam. The second chapter is the data collection, and the final one is the summary of the thesis. So for society and economic of Vietnam in 1980s and 1990, Vietnam have just ended the war period, and after that the economic situation, facing many poverty and backwardness. Why? After the war with the French people, and then Vietnam have faced the war with the U.S. people, 2 to 3 million people died. And after that, the war with the Khmer in the southwest of the country. And also we have to face the war in the Chinese people. So after the war ended, thousands of people being wounded. They cannot earn a living for themselves. The government and the country situation have to take care of them. And that happened during my school time and entered university. I also, experienced the period of many changes situation of the country. In 1986, the government, the Communist Party, they have issued the đổi mới policy. It changed the centralized organized economic to the free market. And there are 3 important things in this policy. The first thing is that they accept the private economy sector. They accept the FDI sector. They accept the small household economy along with the government, the state-owned company. Yes, and during this, on the 3rd of February 1994, the important thing is that the U.S. they lifted the embargo policy against the country. It opened up a lot of opportunity for the economy to integrate into the global economy. After that, in July 1995, Vietnam officially joined the ASEAN, become the 6th member of the association. And 1901, the Vietnam and the U.S. government, they signed the fifth agreement. And until 2007, Vietnam officially became the official member of the WTO. So during this, 20 years, 2 decades of the economy, the Vietnam fully became the member of the global trade. And this also happened during my school time and university, and that's caused my many, feeling and selection of my, banking career later on. During my time, because I was born after country complete reunification on 30th April 1975. Yeah, the centralized economy was subsidized bureaucracy, leading to poverty and pushing many people leaving their homeland to live abroad. I think the ASEAN country also experienced this situation. Many, both people at this time they have the word that is both people. It means that the Vietnamese they left the country on the board and living for the U.S. country to find better life. And there are many refugees came, erected in the surrounding country, like in Thailand also have, in Bangkok, in Hong Kong, in Malaysia also have, and Philippines a lot. And that is the people, refugees, they have a long time of living there to find out a way to the U.S. government. The overseas Vietnamese continuously send qualified goods to people who successfully, left to the U.S. and they can, stable their life, and they continuously sending back the money that is in U.S. dollar and qualified goods to their relatives in Vietnam. And I also experienced that the family that have relatives living overseas during this period were well into the society. Yeah. Besides, were updated by news from the BBC. The BBC, this one, UK, this is very important at that time. This is a source of information that for many older people and also the intellectuals with it, because it's honest and objectively reflected the current situation of the country and the outside colorful world. That's also caused my comparison of the outside economy and the inside situation of the country. So my childhood, my school time, and my postgraduate time, facing the poor country right after the war ended. The society is surrounded by many difficulty and backwardness, poverty, by the outside world, especially the Western and the U.S. getting the many economic achievements during that time. And luckily, the innovation policy that is đổi the transformation of the economy were launched in time, opened up many economic development opportunities for the young people, for the country, with many banking business opportunities that inspire me to select the right option for my life career later on. This is the reason why I select this banking career, because of the society situation and my childhood. So the learning methods and the success through my observing phenomenal events, information on the radio, that is BBC, mostly the BBC. My family had the radio at that time in 18 decades. Yeah, my father, he turned on every day. Yeah, and news coming out from that show. That affected my life, selecting the career later on. Internet later on. Internet is mean that during the time I entered university, and after that we have internet. Banking magazine. My job is banking, so the news from magazine also being updated by myself to enrich my knowledge on this faculty. Statistics and comparison of the information of Vietnam banking and finance industry over the years, look at this during my job. And my personal experiences, summarizing practical experiences at the workplace during the corporate, the organization that I have worked for, like the export price company that was for the relies from overseas import and export company. The second bank is also the big one in Vietnam, Vietbank, now bank now. Buying information from the client is the same industry. Like Mr. Dũng, he also work for Exim Bank, Mr. Ngân, Exim Bank also. And outside the industry, like Mr. Đông, he also have time to go to the education industry. Acquiring knowledge and teaching methods, especially guidance from VOU. Dr. Ong, Dr. Shark, Dr. Lam, has instructed me for my framework of the thesis and content. So thank you for your instruction. So for banking, I would like to introduce some, concept of this, terminology, industry, banking and finance. Banking and finance is the profession related to the transaction services. That is the currency circulation through banks and financial instruments of issuing banks in domestic and international one. Covering many specialized fields such as the capital mobilization, they are saving the money the customer they deposit to the bank account, then they receive the principal plus the interest, especially the people that have extra money or the old people. They mainly use saving to taking care of their life and everyday expenses. Credit granting is a lending is field for the corporate and the individual also. Banking account, that is the account book that they have the data in the booking for balances. Trade finance, this is for the international trade and the domestic trade also. Financing it means that we lending with disperse the loan to those customers to get back the principal plus the interest. That is the main earning of the bank. International remittance, that is the remittance for overseas. Shift, that is society worldwide, telecommunication and finance telecommunication is a shift that is short. Initial letter of the shift. Financial institution relationship, that is FI. The department that control the relationship between the bank and the partners in banking. Risk management. Banking is very important for risk management because if we do not have this department, the bank easily go bankruptcy, and that's why the risk management is also one of the important pillar of the three pillars in the banking. So some basic definition of the banking and finance, and this slide my biography. Shortly, I started from my position as an employee at the import company Vĩnh Long Food, based in Ho Chi Minh City. And why is Vĩnh Long? Because it's head office based in Vĩnh Long, and this company mainly, export the rice, Vietnamese rice. After the war ended, before 1975, Vietnam is the country who do not have enough food for the people. But after the reunification day, that the country they can export the rice, and this is one of the goods that the world globally they know about Vietnam for this kind of products. And I was apply for the position of the document officer, and mainly that I was assigned the task of doing banking documents with the banks, and through this I also experienced the knowledge of the banking, how to deal with the customer and vice versa, especially the corporate, import and export company. And after that, in my time, my working time at the bank position, so many is the position, international payments officer, and then the deputy manager of the international payment department, the manager, and the director of the payment center, and the branch director assistant, and deputy branch director, and come back to the director of the payment center, that is corporate division, and acting director of the corporate division, and then the corporate division of Nama Bank. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, now I still this line still yet. So the reason why I rotated through many positions and also have certain success in the banking position. Firstly, I think that before we join the organization, we should understand, we should find out the culture of that organization, the function and the task of the head office and the branches work. For some global corporate, we also have to understand the function and the global network also, not only the domestic one, but also I think the global one. And then the being well equipped with the knowledge. It means that I think firstly the job description function, the main function, job description of the position that we apply for in corporate organization that we should well understand about it, so that we understand the expectation of the organization that they put it. Spending time to build a good relationship with the colleagues in the firstly I think in the head office. If we have the chance to be there, because the head of it, the place they decided the strategy of the organization, and many high ranking position they based here, and we can see can get the vision of 3 to 5 years of strategy of the bank. So that I will have the decision whether or not I am suitable for the organization. And then I combine the head office vision, head office work with the brand, the target. Before head office, they plan the business year plan, but the plan the network that launch our business year plan with the brand. So we have to combine that two into one to execute our task. We identify myself with that, my task, that to the target, not only of head office, but also of the branches. Being proactive in supporting business needs of the frontline channels. And this one important because the brand business is the main contributor to the profit of the organization, because that is the business line, front line. Most of the customers they deploy from the brand network. So supporting the talent through effective interaction with them, always showing that I was bringing the value added to my talent. Yeah, for some project, and some tasks that I also care of the college, target KPI to effort. The next one is characteristic is diversifying banking and knowledge. How to do this? Trying to fulfill my role of responsibility within my job description and doing well out of the job description. That's the value added I think to the college. Planning for myself to just keep important position of the department with the project timeline. So for banking, there are many, departments. If we do not have that clear plan from the beginning, you cannot protect the important position. In order to diversify the banking knowledge, this is very important. Of course, it depends on your thinking. For myself also, that the chance that I have, the relationship that I have also. These are important positions for banking that the banker needs to protect if I want to success in the key position of the banking. Yeah. So each year of exercise, I plan how 2 years to achieve knowledge and left perfection when I leave. Yeah, that is the relationship I need to acquire. Another important characteristic is the trust with talent and the customer. So for the talent, for my talent, I need to prepare knowledge, but for choosing a career in the banking, this is important. As I said before that before I moved to the banking position, I work for the import-export company, and during my company position, I also focused on the business of dealing with the bank document paper. Yeah, so I have to be preparing knowledge before I move to the bank industry already. Learning about the cultural history of the bank that I would apply. Yeah, we have to find out the history of the organization. Adding more practical knowledge for my group position. Say for example, if at that time I wanted to apply for the international payment. So when I work for the import-export company, the payment with the overseas partner who bank the procedure, the paperwork, how to do, I prepare before. This means my preparation during that period already done. Being ready for new tasks or senior or boss to create the sympathy. This means that if I want to receive the instruction from the senior position, that I have to be ready for tasks from that. That I think that is the effective way of absorb the knowledge from that. Working hard and trying to be more than receive. Yeah. When I was young, so I can have time and I can work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. Yeah, because that's I have nothing but help and time, and that is junior people can contribute to the organization when they totally step into that environment to get a sympathy of the senior people. And coming back, I think also very important is trust with the customer for the banking that we do business with money and trust. So this one important. Researching and understand about the legal knowledge of the target customer field of business, the legal framework of the business of customer, and also learn about the competitor of the customer. So when we want to give them the best solution, the best advice, we must understand about legal framework of the business that our client they are in, and also understand about their competitor so that we can have them effective advice. Yeah, so we have to find out, also understand about the client and the competitor of the client also. The next one is in order to be succeed in the banking position, we have to have the implementing action plan. Yeah, we should have a clear plan about it. For me, I think I have the four phases of the plan to be succeed. That firstly we have to plan that one. I have to implement it in reality, and then we check, and then we amend. This means that we have the plan, and we launch the plan, and then we check, and then we amend to be more. In second bank, during my second bank, I view the satellite as a finance minister, with the position of the project manager. Yeah. At that time, I still not the project manager, but I was the deputy one. That I myself planning and sending the project member to learn the implementation here from similar project at TV Morgan J in Hong Kong and Singapore. And then we selecting the appropriate technology solution provider and receiving the transfer for this in the software transfer. Theoretical and practical training for the end user or for the staff of the bank in the testing environment, and then we go live, we launch the project in reality, and also I will on-site people what we do with this doing live, usually 1 month to 3 months to get on the scale of the project. And then doing this, I finding out something that needs to be adjusted to amending or adjusting the project after going live to approve and fulfill the customer satisfaction. We have to fulfill some issue that occur after we launch the product after the amend, the final phase successful of the project. So that is the 5 characteristics, the main one for the success of the senior banking position. So I would like to summarize some key success factor of the banking career. That is I think passionate at work. In order to be successful in this position, I think every people have to be passionate at work. If I do not, I would not be passionate at work. I cannot working more than 100% of the time. I could not devote myself to the career. I cannot adapt my task and my job description to the organization. In order to do that successfully, I think we have to have passionate network, and we overcome all of the difficulties that we face during our working hours. The next one is that the ability to build and succeed the guy, because the banking career is the basic of the teamwork. If we do not, we cannot, if we could not build the relationship with the guy, so we cannot work. One people cannot build a bank or cannot operate a bank with one people. Usually you see the bank with the staff of at least 5,000 people to 40,000 people to operate the very complicated organization chart. This guy in the trading economy, not only in Vietnam, but I think globally the same. The next one is the ability to build a trust with the customer. So banking business is money business. So with money, we think that the main characteristic of the people who work for this industry is the trust, trustworthiness that we need to have. If the banker they do not have the trustworthiness, they do not build a trust, they themselves not trusty to the client. I think they cannot sell the banking to the finance service to the client in the market. That is the first characteristic of the bank in this business. Creative means that if you are junior and started from a junior, if I will not creative, I will not have the new idea to prove that to prove that I will passionate at this career. So I could not get the promotion from the bank. Creative. Bring the new idea and the transformation to the current, as usual task, that is the daily routine job. We need to have the creative to transfer to the high productivity process of the bank. Having good communication and persuasive skill. Because the banking is the teamwork. If you want to be a leader of a team, if you don't have the good communication skill, if you cannot have a clear instruction to the other colleagues staff, how can we become a leader of the staff? So this communication skill is also important to gather a group of people who finish the target strategy of the team. And doing that one, you also have the ability of planning and management skill, because that's bank leader who have to read the plan, have to create a plan, to instruct that plan to the staff to understand the same target. And then we can manage the team to have the right direction to fulfill the target of the plan. So this is the most important characteristic of the bank should have. So I also have some suggestions during my 23 more than 23 years of banking business. So for the young people and students, they should identify their strengths and weaknesses to the right honesty nature to study that is important. Because if they do not have this thinking, so they cannot have the right direction for their life. We can easily develop our own career associated with the development, right selection operation, and then we can adapt to. We can adapt our life target to the organization target and strategy. If we select the right organization to apply for. Firstly, of course, we can change the job soon if we find that we cannot stick to the organization or the culture and the strategy of the organization that are too significantly different from our ability to adjust or to adapt to. We can adapt it. We found that it is suitable, and our pride back that we still not suitable. I think we should have a chance to change the job and also the career to select the right way. I think finding out how meaningful of the work we doing every day, because time is limited. Every day we actively the value of the development of the organization. If we do not understand the meaning of that job, so meaningless with a time. So that's why this one I think I also find out the reason why I select the banking career because of the situation, the economy of the country, because of the backwardness,
อ่า
poverty of the
วัน
country,
ชัยวงศ์มณิ
I found the
วงศ์สะทรทองหล่อ
creation of people. So that's what I see. So I understand the meaning of the work I do every day. So what value we can bring to the life today, and not only today but also in the future. We imagine, we have the vision, we have the strategy, our private plan, organization that also have the strategy for coming 5 years, even though 10 years, we're finding out the common idea that to adapt the line and the top activity of our job for the organization. Establishing a work plan for ourselves so that we can develop a plan for the organization that we work for. And I think that's the key factor that have the people as myself here to be successful in the career that we selected. So this is the ethical insight. Yes, this is important because why we select the English University but not others because of this ethical insight. My career is a banking career, is a money career. So having always been highly aware of my work, I think for the field of finance and money full of temptation. If you updated from the news recently, SCB, one of the big banks in Vietnam, you know, they were taken court action with the total loss of around more than 15 billion US dollars in the banking career. You know, equivalent to 5 or 6% of the GDP, 1 year GDP of Vietnam. That's a very big problem. So the temptation, the money, the people in the SCB, they are intellectual, they are senior, they understand about the procedure, the finance, but they also violated this one. Anything. That's why the first criteria that I put here, you need to have been aware of it. Work ethic. There's something similar to this one. This track. So doctor, professor, the chap, the lab, the art that I do inside. People well aware of my work. I think in terms of the meaning of the money made by myself. Although I started from zero, I have nothing. My childhood, my school time, my family poor. But this is more the meaning of the money that I have by myself from contribution in works or organization, customer. And also being ready to help customer by consulting and supporting banking and financial solution. Most of the more and the best important is not payment for the customer when they encounter the difficulty. And also it can be free of charge. Yeah, that's my slogan. I think looking for a project that qualifies personnel to train and foster the next generation because I am in between. I use 50 already, 49. So I think this is the responsibility of the in-between people. If you just think of me and I fulfill my job description, and I earn the money, salary of my own, so I think that's not enough. So that's the important for responsibility for the organization and the country. Continuous operation and development organization later on. There's something even more important than money. Is the honor, personal practice, and respect for colleagues, and also the teacher, the workmate. That's more important than money and position that they already have. I think people can earn money and earn the position, better position, more relationships. But I think the respect, the real respect, practice, they have for me. It's more. So a little bit about my future plans. That I continue to through the banking profession and management job goes more than 20 years already, more than half of my life. So to do this one, so it here so I think the value added for the younger people for banking, for my current job organization and so on. While in my bank, we commit the bank restructuring strategy of the public customer visit according to the scheme approved by State Bank. Here of this one, then when it went to the bank. And the period of until 2030. That is the advantage of the people who work for the bank and have it. I am updated by the salary of a long time. That's why I can have more than for myself, that to the organization that I selected, spending the banking and finance knowledge and spread my contribution in the related field. That's the Association of Import and Export, Enterprise, Personal Declaration, Insurance, Logistics, all of the things that relate to my job here, all of the ecosystem relating to my position now. Spreading in the sharing knowledge and leadership for company management, something like that.
ยูโซลูกครูบาท
Planning shop, planning courses or practical experience in handling foreign trade business, dispute, identifying risk, and in important for business solution to prevent and handle the rising risk solution situation effectively. This means that I can help people. I do have this area for a long time. And before moving here, I also have a student looking for a company. So the connection between the company and the banking career and so top cases. That's my customer. They have to face their business that I can help. Yes, so that's all of my presentation. And thank you for listening.